Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Elena, and I thought I'd do an energy update for what I've been picking up lately in the collective. And I gotta be honest, I've been trying to make this video for like the past hour, and it's either I'm coughing all of a sudden, or something doesn't want me to say what I'm saying or whatever. And I just remember sitting down and being like, I'm gonna say what I need to say. So whatever energy's around me, you can go away now. So I just put some shields up, got myself some lemon water, and I'm just gonna go and say what I need to say. So I went ahead and I picked 6 cards, and the first card says follow through with your ideas. It says you are worthy. The second one. The third one, it came in 2. So it says you're ready for a breakthrough and you're divinely protected as you step forward into this next phase. You already know what it is that you need to do. It says trust your intuition. And it says free yourself. So there is something that's happening in your reality where you know that you need to start taking steps to move towards what it is that you have to move towards. And I think the result of that is this energetic feeling of perhaps grief, perhaps sadness, even though you know you're making the right decision. Because, you know, when you make the choice to kind of focus on you or take care of you or like put your standards so high or have boundaries or, you know, cut people off or energetically elevate and people just start moving out of your life, people that you've like known for a long time, it can be very devastating. It can be hurtful. It can be lonely. It can be isolating. It can be all of those things that make you kind of question whether or not you want to continue to do this path, you know, of authenticity, right? Because when you're truly yourself, you will trigger other people and it can be incredibly uncomfortable. And I think, you know, Spirit is really urging you to know that the right people won't be uncomfortable when you start choosing yourself. The right people will actually move towards you and support you when you decide to choose yourself, the right ones. It kind of sheds people who were never good for you as you continue to love yourself more, because this is my self-love card here. What's interesting is that this morning I went out for a walk, and I know it's not like a big deal, but it'll make sense when I say what I'm saying here. I went for a walk today, and sorry, I had to kind of like stop the video because like I hear people like raking, or like I hear birds cawing outside, or like a freaking drill hammer. It's like whatever. We've been through this, Spirit. We've been through this universe. I know you didn't want me to stop speaking, and for whatever reasons, there's people out there who don't want me to say it. I'm gonna say it anyway. I'm gonna do it anyway. So if you hear us like outside, that's what that is. Okay, anyways. So I went outside for a walk, and I could noticeably feel like there was an energetic shift in the collective, or like a collective feeling of walking around in life with the filter of your lens. It's like, it's not as vibrant. It's almost like people are seeing a sense of like a tint of gray as they're moving on in life. And the only example that I can really give in terms of my experience when it comes to that, because there's like one day, for instance, I was really upset being on the path that I was on because I felt like there was no real tangible results for what it was that I have experienced. So for instance, I didn't understand why doing all that inner healing work, all that generational trauma clearing work, resulted in me having to remove myself from a lot of people that I grew up with, or, you know, maybe I triggered a lot of my family members, or maybe, you know, I triggered a lot of people, and I just felt very isolated, very alone on my journey. And I also felt like why is it still so difficult to like manifest the reality that I prefer to have? If my vibration is high, wouldn't it be easy if I were to attract what it is that I want? And I always found myself in spaces and places where I just felt like I was around people that truly were still not really people I really jived with well. And I got really angry. And it's the same thing with like manifesting like income too. I was like, how come I'm, if I'm so like vibrationally where I'm supposed to be, if I'm working on myself, wouldn't you be showing me more abundance in terms of money? And I was really frustrated because I was like watching so many people out there like just living their lives, not doing any work on themselves, not deprogramming themselves, being kind of ignorant in their own way, but they were like making so much money. They were able to have a house, they were able to take care of themselves in abundant, from what I perceived at the time, in abundant way. And I remember getting upset with Spirit, and I remember saying, you know what, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm like, it's not fair that I have to do all this inner work and I lose so many people in my life, and then I'm struggling to pay my shit off, or like I'll just have enough. Like what? This is not good. This is not what I want. And I remember, saying that very clearly to God and to Spirit. And what happened was that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just want to be like everyone else. And the next day, something shifted in me where I just almost felt like a shell of a person in terms of just going to work, and like literally, like I was so disconnected mentally and from my heart space. Like I was just physically there working, doing my everyday stuff, and everything that I saw was a tint of gray. And that was kind of like the message that said like, this is what it would feel like if you decided to not be true to yourself, and to continue your path just like everyone else, where you're not willing to dive deep and you want to maintain a very surface level way of existence. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think because I've already experienced the deep dive at that point, to have it taken away, it really made me appreciate my deep journey, even though at the time I was like really angry about it. And I remember the next day, I remember going home and just going like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I need to see some color in my life. I need to, experience more connection, a deep connection, even if it may not be around certain people around me. It is a deep connection with God that I need. And so that's kind of like the message, or the story that I wanted to share, because I feel like during this time, a lot of people in the collective are maybe feeling that. They're probably waking up to the fact that, oh man, I need to change something. This isn't working out for me. Another message that kind of came through has to do with family. It was really weird because when I was walking, I just noticed a lot of people outside doing stuff. Like, and I know it's not like a big deal, and maybe this is just my perception, but I had this feeling inside where I'm like, no, this is like happening too frequently on my walk for me to not notice it. And it's like, today is like Thanksgiving, a holiday where people like kind of go together to meet your family. A majority of people will go and do that. However, I'm like, why are so many people avoiding sitting and being around their family right now? I'm not saying like I know what's happening in their lives. I'm just saying like that was the impression that I felt. And I knew it was like a collective message as well. Because a lot of times people, even though they have family that comes from far away, there's a lot of people that avoid them. Like there's something within them that they just are not happy to be around them. So it just tells me that there's a lot of changes that are probably going to happen in terms of like relationships, in terms of friendships, in terms of work, in terms of marriage, in terms of partners, and just in-laws. There's like things where people, I feel, will recognize like, this isn't working out for me. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy with this. And they're going to do something about it. They're going to just either go through divorce, change their jobs. I do feel like there's a big shift in terms of soul contracts coming up. And I think a lot of people have already shifted and cleared a lot of contracts that they no longer want in their life. It's almost like there's like this feeling of self-love in terms of like, I'm not putting up with this anymore. This new thing that I want to do is going to require me to put up some boundaries, and I'm going to lose some people in the process, people that I'm very close to probably, but I need to do this for me. Even if it hurts other people, I need to do this for me. That's the message that I'm getting here, because people are not wanting to continue living a life where they're just like a shell of a person, where they're just existing. Like, that's no longer an option for them. And that's kind of what I am picking up today. And I just don't know exactly how or when this will happen for people, but I feel like it's already happened. I already feel like people have already shifted, and I feel like maybe they're feeling a sense of grief, because they know that some connections are lost in terms of like, yeah, this isn't going to work out. And mind you, there's some connections that are just temporarily needing to separate. Doesn't mean you're going to be separated forever. However, I feel like during this time, as you're making your shift, Archangel Michael is here to protect you as you're shifting, because he also cuts cords. It's like, because you can't have those energies around you when this new version of yourself is like coming out of the cocoon. You cannot hold these other people around you when you're trying to take off, when you're trying to do your thing. I find it interesting that I'm not coughing during this reading. I put my protection bracelets on, and all of a sudden, like, I know I'm not coughing. Interesting. But yeah, like, I think Spirit is also telling you to pay attention to the signs to let you know when it's time to take action steps, because I know for myself, like, sometimes I'll get like a little tap, boop, boop, and I'm like, okay, I gotta pay attention, or like a ringing in my ear. I'll have to like pay attention to things. That's when I know like I need to take action steps, even though I may not know how it's gonna lead to where I need to go. I just trust. Like, I remember today I just spent like, what, $200 on equipment and supplies. And I was like, okay, I don't know where this is going, but I'm going to do it because it's on sale. And the things that I wanted to buy, the equipment that I wanted to buy, it was in my cart for a long time. And then like today it was on sale. I was like, okay, it's fine. So any other messages you would like for me to know? Divine protection. Divine protection. Okay, yeah, divine protection. It says divine perfection. Everything is working according to plan. And it says individuality. That card looks like Archangel Michael to me. Individuality. You're being asked to really express yourself at this time and to really live unapologetically, authentically you. That's the message. It's like, it's time. And I know like maybe for a long time you kind of felt guilty for trying to like take care of yourself and to move into the direction that is right for you. Spirit is like saying like, this is your opportunity now to make that choice. It's like, do you want to still live life with a little gray tint in your perspective, or like, are you willing to embody full vibrancy in your life? That's the question. And it's to get really clear about it And how do you get really clear about it? You love yourself. And, and it's kind of interesting too, because we talk about falling out with people, and with friendships and all that. And, I heard the other day, like, a high level of emotional intelligence requires confidence. And I also came across this, like, quote by this pastor. Like, I'm not a church person, but this video of this pastor speaking. His name is Pastor YPJ. I had to write it down. This man is amazing. Like, the way he speaks, like, like people, like, are able to express their truth and they can summarize so well and so effectively, and it's just like it hits you right in the core. That was what this man, his words said to me. His messages said to me. He said, "The maturity of mindset and the proper enhancement of character are qualities that are not attractive to underdeveloped people. I don't say this to be mean or to be funny, but how could somebody who is unnecessarily immature ever appreciate a person that is intentionally bettering themselves? As you grow in your walk of faith, your communication abilities, and your own personal desire for high-level accountability, you realize that you're not for everybody." Like, that to me is, like, just exactly what it means. You're working on yourself, and people are shedding out of your life, and it's hard, but it's like, why do you got to know that you're not for everyone. That's the thing. Another thing that he said, when it comes to people that kind of judge you, or they feel triggered by you, or like they just don't like you as you're stepping into your authenticity, because that happens, because your light gets brighter and brighter. And so people just like have opinions about you, judgments about you. Like, he had another message about this and it was perfect. So I'm going to read it here. It says, "The assessment of your character from an insecure individual is untrustworthy and most likely invalid, because people who are emotionally insecure have a tendency of seeing the world through the lens of their own personal inadequacies. Example, they see confidence as arrogance. They think that your confession of faith is just delusional optimism. They view joy and happiness as dissimulation or a goofy facade. Brokenness will never properly assess wholeness." That's the part I had to write down. Brokenness will never properly assess wholeness. If a person is unstable in their own idiomatic esteem, there is no way they could critique your character. This is the reason why harsh opinions from strangers in the comments section should never be able to measure your level of well-being or well-doing. Half the people who claim they don't like you don't even like themselves. If they're wrestling within themselves trying to find an area of fondness of their own character, of course they're going to find something wrong with you. We all need assessment. We all need a measure of judgment for correction and progression, but you always have to consider the source, because every opinion is not valid. Man, this man is amazing, honestly. And, when I was talking about my journey and how, like, I was so angry, how, like, I did all that inner work or whatever, but I was only able to get enough of stuff. But I gotta be honest, though, because of that inner work that I've done, it's like I do have a true level of abundance. I'm abundant in so many things. Like, you can, like, people who know me will know that I will find deals all the time. I have always been able to be provided for. I've always been able to furnish my whole house, even though, like, I feel like there's been times of struggle. Like, nothing has really changed in terms of, like, massive incomes of money, but for some reason, like, I always was able to find amazing deals, and that is part of the abundant vibration. Just the other day, I found makeup that I absolutely love for 75% off. So eyeshadow palettes, what I'm wearing right now, usually is $26, and it was on sale for like $5 or something. And I ended up getting a full face of makeup for less than $100. And I just thought, wow, I am such a lucky person. So, like, that stuff happens to me all the time. And, there's a way of changing your perspective in terms of like being grateful for the fact that God has always been able to provide for me, even though I may not live in like some sort of bougie house, you know what I mean? I have like gold grills, I don't know. But he says this, which really resonated with me as well. It said, man's inflation has no effect on heaven's supply. And that's so true. Like, I look back at my life and I look at all the things that I, have, and it was just like, it always happens. And I've always been able to feed myself and have plenty of food. Like, it's just, when I think about it, I'm just like, you know what? There is such a huge benefit of doing that inner work. You see life in a fuller heart, more gratitude, more appreciation for things, and more joy, and you feel things more deeply. There's a lot of amazing things that happen when you do that inner work, and even if it costs like losing some people, to me it's worth it. And it's not like you lose these people forever. They can easily do that work too, right? But I think that's kind of like the message Spirit wants to kind of say today, which is a big mouthful. But anyways, I hope this video helps someone out there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.